My girlfriend ran back crying, clawing at her wrist. She said my brother had followed her. Cornered her. I didn't believe it. Until I found the letter. We found out that he'd been planning for months. And the worst part? He wasn't done. Not even close. He destroyed everything I knew about my family. I have been dating my girlfriend Lauren for almost 3 years now. She's kind, witty, loyal to a fault, and the first person I've ever truly imagined building a life with. We're not perfect, who is, but we work. Like, when life hits hard, we sync up instead of breaking apart. The way she stood by me when my dad had cancer last year? I'll never forget that. Which makes what happened. I don't even know the word. Sickening? Mind-breaking? Let me tell you about my brother first. His name is Ethan. Growing up, he was the guy. Everyone liked Ethan. He was the kid teachers doted on, the one neighbors smiled at, the dude who always made the party better. He wasn't a bad brother, not at first. But as we got older, something changed. Ethan started to see my wins as his losses. I got into a good college on scholarship. He said I cheated the system. I landed a job out of state that paid better than his. He joked that I must have slept with someone in HR. When I brought Lauren home for the first time 2 Christmases ago, I caught him staring at her in a way that made my stomach turn. I chalked it up to protective older brother vibes at first, but nah. That look wasn't protective. It was possessive. He wanted her. From day one. It was subtle at first. Little things. Comments like, no offense, bro, but Lauren's way out of your league. Or, if you mess this up, send her my way. I laughed them off. Stupid guy banter, right? Lauren said she felt a bit weird around him, but she didn't want to rock the boat. She's non-confrontational like that. Then, last summer, Ethan got dumped by his long-term girlfriend. Completely spiraled. Started drinking more. Got bitter. And that's when things with Lauren started getting weird. He started texting her directly. Nothing blatantly inappropriate, just checking in, seeing how she was holding up with me, always working, little jabs to make her question things. He'd find excuses to be near her if we were all in town, like one time he showed up uninvited to a movie night at my mom's just because Lauren was gonna be there. Stuff like that. It was my cousin Jake's big day, out in the countryside, one of those barn venues with string lights, DIY centerpieces, and way too much cheap wine. Lauren and I were excited. It was our first proper event together in months. She wore this deep blue dress, simple, elegant, with a slit that drove me nuts, in a good way. Ethan, of course, noticed too. I saw his eyes trail her like he was mapping her body. The first red flag that night? I caught him snapping a pic of her when she wasn't looking. He tried to play it off like he was just getting a group shot, but when I asked to see it, he mumbled something and stepped away. Lauren was chatting with my aunts, didn't notice any of this. I let it slide. I shouldn't have. Second red flag? During dinner, Ethan switched seats to be next to her. He waited until I went to the bar to help someone carry drinks, then took my seat. When I got back, he was making her laugh, that loud, embarrassed kind of laugh she does when she doesn't know how to say stop. I asked him to move. He said, relax, I'm just talking to her. You don't own her. Lauren gave me a quick, panicked glance. I forced a smile and said something about the groom needing help. We stepped outside and I asked her straight up if he was making her uncomfortable. She hesitated, then said, a little, but it's fine. I don't want to start family drama. Drama was already in motion. After the dancing started, I noticed Ethan kept watching her. I'd be dancing with Lauren, twirling her around, and out of the corner of my eye, there he'd be just standing near the bar, drink in hand, eyes fixed. At one point, when I stepped away to use the bathroom, he swooped in again. My cousin's girlfriend told me later she overheard Ethan saying to Lauren, you don't have to settle for my brother. You ever wonder what it'd be like to be with someone who really knows how to take care of you? Lauren told him to back off. She told me all of this afterward, obviously. At the time, I had no clue how far things had gone. The wedding ended around midnight. We all stayed at a nearby hotel. Lauren and I had a room. Ethan had a room. Separate floors. No issue, or so I thought. Around 1:30 a.m. I woke up to Lauren in tears, shaking. She'd gone out to get some fresh air, too much wine, she said, feeling a little sick. As she walked down the hall, someone grabbed her wrist from behind. It was Ethan. He was drunk. Reeked of vodka and entitlement. He told her, I know you feel it too. Don't lie. I've seen the way you look at me. She said she tried to pull away, but he shoved her against the wall and tried to kiss her. When she pushed him back and shouted, he panicked and ran off, mumbling, I'm sorry, like that was gonna undo anything. She came straight back to our room, locked the door, and broke down. I saw her wrist. Red marks. I was shaking with rage, with disbelief, with something animal in my chest. I wanted to kill him. But I didn't. Instead, I called the front desk. Asked if anyone had seen him. They said he just left, stormed out the back exit, drunk and belligerent. I wanted to track him down, but Lauren begged me not to. She said, please, don't let this night get worse. Please. I held her all night while she sobbed. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and felt my world fracture. And now? Now it's a mess. I told my parents what happened. My mom sobbed. My dad asked if I was sure. If I was sure. Like my girlfriend would lie about being groped in a hotel hallway. Ethan hasn't responded to any texts. He ghosted us all. Deleted his social media. My uncle, his dad, said he showed up drunk at his place the next day, claimed Lauren came on to him and he got confused. I swear to God I saw red. I nearly drove to my uncle's to confront him, but Lauren stopped me again. And now here's the kicker, my parents want me to let it go. They're saying he was drunk, he's going through a lot, family is all we have. My mom had the gall to say, don't blow up the whole family over this. Blow it up? He assaulted my girlfriend. My partner. My person. After that night, Lauren couldn't go home for a few days. We ended up staying at my friend Adam's apartment just to breathe without the tension of family. She didn't want to be alone. I didn't want her out of my sight. She barely ate. Jumped when her phone buzzed. Couldn't sleep without checking the locks 3 times. And me? I was holding it together with tape and fury. My brain wouldn't stop playing it over and over. Ethan's hands on her, the tears in her eyes, the marks on her wrist. The worst part? I didn't see it coming. Not really. I knew he liked her. I didn't know he had it in him to plan this. Because that's what it was planned. That started becoming clearer the next day. Adam's girlfriend Allie, who had been at the wedding, messaged me and said, I don't know if I should say this, but I saw Ethan following Lauren when she left the dance floor. I thought they were just talking. I didn't realize anything bad happened. It wasn't just that. Our cousin Jamie, who'd been sitting on the patio when Lauren went out for air, said Ethan came down a few minutes later, not staggering, but pacing like he was waiting. She said he kept muttering something like, now or never. So he waited. He knew she'd step out eventually. And then he struck. I started digging. I went through old group texts. Ethan had been fishing for information about Lauren for months. Things like, is she still working that job with late hours? She ever talk about me? Just wondering if she's into confident guys. She seems kinda bored. It was like reading a script from someone slowly slipping off the rails. I didn't tell Lauren about all of it. I didn't want her feeling even more violated than she already did. But I did one thing I should have done a long time ago. I blocked Ethan on everything. Then I called my parents. Again. My dad answered this time. I told him everything we'd learned, what Jamie saw, what Adam's girlfriend heard, the texts. I didn't even raise my voice. You know what he said? It doesn't look good, I'll admit that. But are you sure Lauren's not just upset about something else and twisting this? I almost dropped the phone. My own father. I said, if it had been Mom, if someone shoved her against a wall and tried to kiss her while she screamed, would you ask what she did to provoke it? He didn't respond. That silence broke something in me. I told him if he wasn't going to take this seriously, then we had nothing to talk about. He called me dramatic. I hung up. Here's where it gets worse. A week later, Lauren got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Just her name, written in blocky all caps. Inside was a printed letter. Typed. It said, you led me on. You smiled. You laughed. You knew I wanted you. Don't act like a victim now. You made your choice. I'm making mine. This isn't over. Lauren showed it to me without a word. Her hands were shaking. It was like someone lit a fuse in my spine. I grabbed the letter, checked the envelope, no postmark. That meant it wasn't mailed. It was delivered. Someone physically put it in her mailbox. I called the cops. Filed a report. Gave them everything. The letter, the photos of the wrist, the names of the witnesses from the wedding. They took it seriously, said they'd start an investigation, especially since this counted as harassment and possible stalking. But they also said unless we had a video or he tried something else, it might be hard to press charges. So we waited. And we locked every damn door and window. Then came the most insane twist. About 2 weeks after the letter, Ethan's ex-girlfriend, the one he dated for 4 years before all this, messaged me out of the blue. She said, hey, I know this is awkward, but I think you and Lauren should know something. She sent me screenshots. Dozens of them. Ethan had been fantasizing about Lauren for years. While they were still together. While he was living with her. He'd saved photos from my social media, cropped shots of Lauren in group pics, screenshots from stories, even one where we were at a beach bonfire and she was wearing a sundress. Worse, he'd written journals about her. Digital ones in his notes app. She sent me some. Here's a line burned into my brain forever. Sometimes I picture her asleep in my bed, curled up in my shirt. I wouldn't even touch her. I'd just watch. Just watch. She said she found all this stuff after they broke up and went through his iPad. Said it made her skin crawl. She deleted it all after but saved the worst bits in case she ever needed proof. She'd been scared of him too. I showed Lauren. She cried for an hour. She felt filthy, like someone had been living in her shadow, feeding off her photos like a parasite. I called the cops again, added it to the report. They agreed it painted a clearer picture of intent, that this wasn't some heat-of-the-moment slip-up. It was planned. Long-term. Creepy as hell. You'd think my family would finally come around, right? Nope. My mom texted Lauren. Not to apologize. To say, I'm sure you misunderstood. Ethan would never do something like that unless he felt encouraged. We blocked her. Then we blocked everyone else. Uncles. Aunts. Even cousins who texted saying maybe don't ruin Ethan's life over a mistake. He assaulted my girlfriend. Harassed her. Stalked her. And you're calling it a mistake? No. No. Lauren's been in therapy now. She's working through the trauma. Some days are good. Some days she flinches when someone walks too close behind her. She changed her hair. We moved apartments. We filed for a protective order, got it approved thanks to the screenshots and witness statements. But the damage? It's there. And it's deep. And here's where I'm struggling. I'm not just grieving what Ethan did. I'm grieving the family I thought I had. I always thought blood meant something. That we'd have each other's backs. That if something truly awful happened, we'd come together. Instead, they rallied around the predator. And left us out in the cold. After everything, the letter, the screenshots, the restraining order, I thought it was finally over. I thought Ethan would just disappear. But nope. He came back. Through the back door of our lives, through someone I never expected, my cousin Jake. The same cousin whose wedding it all started at. Jake and I were never super close, but we'd always gotten along. Until I got a text from him on a random Wednesday night. Hey man, can we talk? I think I might have F'd up. That sentence? That was the beginning of a bomb I didn't know I was standing on. I called him right away. He sounded like someone trying to convince himself not to throw up. And then he said it. I think Ethan planned the whole thing. Now, I already suspected that. But what Jake told me next blew the whole thing wide open. 2 weeks before the wedding, Jake said Ethan came over to help with decorations. Totally normal. They had beers, made some centerpiece stuff, laughed like old times. Then Ethan said something that stuck with Jake but didn't make sense at the time. He said, man, I'm gonna use this wedding to fix everything. Jake thought he meant family drama or maybe just reconnecting with people. But then Ethan added, I've got a plan. You'll see. After this weekend, things you'll finally be right again. Jake said Ethan had this glazed look. Calm but off. Almost like he was relieved. Like he'd made a decision and locked it in. At the time, Jake didn't think to mention it. But after all the fallout, he couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's not all. Jake had a Ring camera. On his garage. And guess who it caught the night before the wedding? Ethan. Wandering around the side yard. Alone. No reason to be there, no tools, no smoke, no phone call. He was looking around. Like he was casing the place. Jake said he looked like a guy rehearsing. I asked Jake if he still had the footage. He did. I asked him to send it to the cops. He hesitated. Said he didn't want to be in the middle. That's when I snapped. In the middle? You're already in the middle. He stalked my girlfriend, assaulted her, and has been creeping on her for years. If you sit on this, you're no better than him. Jake apologized. Said he'd send it in. 2 days later, the police knocked on Ethan's door. Not to arrest him, not yet. But to question him again, armed with new evidence. He denied everything. Of course. Said Lauren was drunk and flirty and coming on to him. Claimed she tried to kiss him, and when he pushed her away, she got embarrassed and ran. They asked him about the letter. He said he didn't write any damn letter. They asked if he'd been at Jake's garage. He said no until they mentioned the camera. Then he said he might have wandered there to make a call. He was unraveling. And he didn't even know the worst was coming. Because Lauren finally decided to go fully public. She wrote a long post, not naming him but laying out the facts. What happened at the wedding? The letter. The screenshots. The police report. Everything. The post exploded. Friends from college messaged her. Old coworkers. Even people from Ethan's high school. One girl messaged Lauren and said he did the exact same thing to me back in college. He cornered me at a party, tried to kiss me, then told everyone I was the one who came on to him. Another said, I blocked him after he kept messaging me creepy stuff after one date. Didn't know he was still like that. Suddenly Ethan's pattern had a paper trail. People stopped defending him. Some even apologized to Lauren for doubting her. But you know who didn't apologize? My parents. Not even when I sent them the post and said, "You still think she's lying?" You know what my mom wrote back? "This is a private family matter. You should be ashamed for putting it online." Ashamed. Meanwhile, Lauren started getting death threats. Not many, but enough to make us paranoid. One DM said, "You're trying to ruin a man's life. Hope karma gets you." We had no proof it was Ethan, but it sounded like him. So we moved. Again. New apartment. New locks. Security cameras this time. We were exhausted. Drained. But we weren't going to let him win. Then, about a month later, he showed up. At my job. I work at a mid-sized marketing agency downtown. Nothing flashy. Everyone wears jeans. We've got a crappy coffee machine and a guy named Steve who microwaves fish. I was walking back from a client lunch when I saw someone standing by the reception desk. Tall. Hoodie up. Face down. It was Ethan. He looked thinner. Greasier. Like he hadn't slept. His hands were shaking. My coworker said he'd been standing there asking for me for 10 minutes. I didn't say a word. I turned around, walked into the hallway, and called security. They escorted him out. He didn't fight. Just looked at me and said, "She was supposed to be mine." That's when I knew. He wasn't sorry. Not for a second. Not for the letter. The assault. The stalking. Not even for blowing up the entire family. To him, this was a love story gone wrong. And I was the villain. The restraining order was updated. His visit violated it. Now there was a warrant. He was arrested 2 days later, not for assault, but for the violation. He spent a night in jail. Posted bail. Disappeared again. As of today, there's still an ongoing investigation into the initial assault. The cops told us, off the record, that this latest incident helped a lot. It shows a pattern of escalating behavior. But justice moves slow. And trauma moves slower. Lauren's different now. She doesn't smile as easy. Doesn't laugh as loud. I catch her flinching at footsteps in the hallway or freezing when someone knocks at the door. She's still Lauren, brave, kind, incredible. But she's carrying a shadow now. One she never asked for. And me? I'm angry. All the time. Angry at Ethan. At my parents. At every person who told Lauren to be quiet, move on, not ruin the family. Because here's the thing. There's no family left to ruin. They made their choice. And I made mine. It's strange how life can twist even more when you think the damage is done. I thought I knew everything. Thought the worst was behind us. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from a blocked number. I almost didn't answer, figured it was a scam or maybe someone calling about my car's extended warranty. But something told me to pick up. The voice on the other end? Ethan's ex-girlfriend. The one who sent us the screenshots before. Her name's Kara. She sounded nervous. Said she didn't know if she should be calling, but she had something she couldn't keep to herself anymore. She said she found a flash drive. Left behind in one of Ethan's old dresser drawers when he moved out of her apartment. She never looked at it until recently. And now? She thought I needed to see what was on it. I told her to send it to me. No details. Just you should watch it. Alone. A week later it showed up. Plain white envelope. No note. Inside, a black USB stick. My hands were shaking as I plugged it into my laptop. There were 5 folders. All labeled with numbers. Inside each? Videos. Photos. Documents. Mostly creepy but expected. Hidden photos of Lauren. Screen recordings of her Instagram stories. Even audio clips where he clearly followed us and recorded us walking through stores. Talking on the street. He'd been tailing us for months. Sick, yeah. But not shocking. But then, I found something that broke my brain. A folder titled, Plan B. Inside, there was a Word doc. Titled, The Reset. It was a full breakdown. A written strategy. Step by step, detailed out in cold, psychotic language. Stuff like, if she doesn't respond to the hallway moment, pivot to remorse angle. Use the family fallout to create confusion. Wait 2 to 3 weeks. Then appear uninvited to confront and apologize. Tears equals sympathy. And worse. If Plan A fails, direct appeal to emotion. Initiate family discredit campaign. Frame situation as mutual misunderstanding. Leverage mom and dad's need for peace. It was like he'd gamified our trauma. He had backup plans. Scenarios. Alternate endings. like this was a movie, and he thought he was the protagonist. Then I clicked on a video. It was a screen recording. Him talking. Alone. In his room. Low lighting. Date stamped 2 nights before the wedding. She's been his for too long. He doesn't deserve her. I've waited. I've been patient. But they don't see it. She doesn't see it. I don't want to hurt her. I just want her to wake up. I just want one moment. One real moment where she looks at me like she used to. And if that doesn't happen, then I'll burn it all down. I'm done waiting. He was fully gone. Not confused. Not drunk. Not broken-hearted. Just gone. I brought everything to the police. It shifted the whole investigation. They launched a deeper probe. Asked Lauren to come in again. Revisited every statement. The detective called it premeditated obsessive coercion. Then I got the final twist. The detective called a few days later. Said something was off about the way Kara had worded her story. About how she just found the flash drive. So they asked her more questions. And guess what? She didn't find the flash drive. She made it. Not the files, those were Ethan's. But she didn't accidentally stumble on them. She had them saved. All of it. For over a year. Because she knew what Ethan was planning before the wedding. Not the assault. But the obsession. The stalking. The moment he was building toward. He told her things during their relationship. While they were still dating, about testing Lauren. About showing her they were meant to be. He told Kara, "You'll understand later. She was mine first." She thought it was just jealous ex-boyfriend talk. Sick, but empty. But when she saw the wedding photos online, saw Lauren looking scared and me looking hollow, she realized he'd done it. And she panicked. That's when she compiled everything and reached out. Not because she wanted to help us from the start. Because she felt guilty for staying silent. I don't know how to feel about her now. Gratitude? Rage? Some weird blend? Doesn't matter. Because that flash drive? That twisted manifesto? It gave us enough. They finally charged Ethan with harassment, attempted assault, and stalking with malicious intent. He's going to trial. He's pled not guilty, of course. But the evidence is overwhelming. There's talk of a plea deal. But I don't care how long he gets. All I care about is this: he's out of our lives. For now. Maybe for good. Lauren and I are still together. Still healing. Therapy helps. So does knowing we made it out. We're planning a move. Fresh start, clean slate, maybe even new names. My parents haven't apologized. They still think I overreacted. Last message from my mom? Asterisk, family is forever. Asterisk, family isn't forever when they protect monsters. And this time we choose who counts as family.